Hello, my name is Robert Anderson. I am an online game design student with Full Sail University. The topic of discussion I'd like to talk about is the Three Kingdoms era in Chinese history. This broke the country of China into three separate kingdoms, with Shu, Wei, and Wu being the three kingdoms led by their respective leaders. The Three Kingdoms era broke China into three separate kingdoms, as I said before. In 184 AD, it started with the Yellow Turban Revolution or Rebellion, depending on which version of history you read. It ended in 280 when Wu surrendered to the Jin dynasty that conquered both Shu and Wei and Sun Quan's grandson. The first kingdom I will talk about is the one in the southwest. This is Shu. This was founded by Liu Bei and his sworn brothers Guan Yu and Zhang Fei. His minister was also Zhuge Liang, who was known as Sleeping Dragon or Crouching Dragon, depending on the translation. It was the last bastion of power of the Han dynasty. Liu Bei started out as a very poor man. He was selling sandals and mats on the street corner to supply and help for his mother. He did not know his imperial roots and joined when the Yellow Turban Revolution was in full swing with his brothers Guan Yu and Zhang Fei to help quell the civil unrest. Zhuge Liang was a prolific inventor of his time and also a prophet. He prophesied the Three Kingdoms era, and he also prophesied on how it would succeed with the Battle of the Red Cliffs. He also invented many things, such as the Kongming lantern, and he also improved the repeating crossbow's effectiveness to give it more power. Guan Yu was known as a fearsome warrior and also fiercely loyal to his brothers Zhang Fei and Liu Bei. Cao Cao once tried to recruit him and spent many weeks giving him gifts, women, jewels, anything under the sun he possibly could think of, and he all refused them all and said, "Thank you, Lord, but I cannot betray my friend." Zhang Fei started out as a wealthy butcher. He was the one who brought up the idea for them to swear an oath of brotherhood in the Peach Garden Oath that is so well known in Chinese culture. He was also known to be a very fearsome warrior, and that even his temple to this day is still heavily revered. The next kingdom we will talk about is Wu. It is in the southeast. It was founded by its foundations by Sun Shi. After Sun Shi died, it was given to Sun Quan, who I did not even know this. He broke apart from China completely, and a few years later he finally declared himself his own emperor in his own right. Sun Shi did not live long, but for every year he lived, he accomplished many more things than most people would in a lifetime. He was known favorably by all his supporters and his subordinates. He was also known as the Little Conqueror, and is China's equivalent to our Alexander the Great in terms of military. Sun Quan reigned the longest of any emperor or warlord in the Three Kingdoms era. He reigned for 55 years. Part of this success had to do with two of his advisors. One he dictated was the commander of the army, and the other one was strictly for the state. With this, it solidified his power in the southeast. Zhao Yu's mark in history is the Battle of Red Cliffs. He was the commander-in-chief of Sun Quan's forces. He also partnered with Zhuge Liang that defeated Cao Cao's troops when they only had 50,000 and Cao Cao had over 800,000 due to a ploy of chaining the ships and setting fire to them. Wei, or Cao Wei as it's commonly known to historians due to other Weis in history, had the largest landmass of any of the empires. However, it was eaten by the inside by the Sima Yi family. The Sima Yi family had the highest power, and the emperor of Wei was named by a figurehead. Cao Cao. Speak of Cao Cao and Cao Cao comes. Is an old saying that means, or equivalent to, speak of the devil and the devil comes. In classic literature, he's known as the villain, whereas Liu Bei is known as the hero. However, he had many things for his country and the peasants. Cao Pi did not really do much. However, his mark in history is simply that he did something that even his father dared not do, and that was to depose the Han Empire. When he did this, he effectively ended a long-standing dynasty and placed himself and his children upon the imperial seat. Sima Yi was the villain of Wei. He also was the rival of Zhuge Liang. And what I mean by rival and also villain was that he fought Zhuge Liang countless times in the Northern campaigns. And he also brought the end, or his family brought the end, to the Wei Empire through manipulation. You're probably asking yourself, why am I talking about these men? Why am I talking about these three kingdoms? Well, what if I told you that this book and this story, although it has been romanticized in many different ways, mythos and legends mixing with historical accuracy, it has been sold only second to the Holy Bible. That's amazing. Not only has it been romanticized in books and literature, it's also been immortalized and also romanticized in video games. I personally played the third version of this saga. It is one of my personal favorites, but it introduced me to this era of history that I now love so much. Another cultural significance, and here we are speaking of Cao Cao again, so you know what's coming. We found his tomb in 2008, and it was officially declared in 2009 that it was Cao Cao's tomb. Not bad for somebody who's been dead for 1800 years, and they do believe his son Cao Pai is also buried of him. Another reason why I bring this up is because very recently China was building the Three Gorge Dam. But there was a problem. Zheng Fei's temple was in the way. They didn't want to insult him, so brick by brick, they carefully and lovingly moved his temple to higher ground so it would not be flooded and destroyed. I hope you enjoyed listening to my presentation on why I believe that this is not only an important part of history, both in China's and in the world's, but my own personal love for this time period. I would honestly like to thank you for listening to me, and I do hope that next time I will be able to do more and better for you. Thank you.